Hey, Magus. Yeah, I love chill music. It helps me relax and stuff like that. I have a friend named Victor who has wanted to see my load orders. Um, and since we can't always, we're on different times, so I thought I'd make this video. That and for anybody else who's interested in seeing what I'm running.
Brian, what is your music playing on your stream?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll watch it. I'm curious.
Okay. Cool. Uh, so then, um, where to start? I guess we'll just go up from the top here and just go over everything. So let's see here. What I've done is I've copied my masters, the update, the Hearthfire, Dragonborn, Dawnguard, and I've gone ahead and I've cleaned those and packaged them so they're on top, so that way I never have to touch my raw files should anything happen to those, and I don't have to do it again. Let's see here. The unofficial Skyrim edition patch, of course, we all know that recently updated. Of course, SSE engine fixes is a necessity for anybody. Free Fly Cam, which was updated last month, I think, is great for anybody who wants to take pictures. See, I'm going to put that right up there and have it fixed right there. This is supposed to help with items getting thrown about when, like, either frame FPS, I think, gets too high, or you know, or by you just walking into things. See here. Well, I can't really say I understand what Papyrus utility does, but it's a necessity for some of the mods I have in my order. Of course, more information console. Can't live without that. That is really great for people like us who like want to mod. Let's see here. UI extensions. Add auto menu for when I need to when I want to do some searching without having to use console. Very handy, that is. Brutal floral fix. Uh, Now I don't know if it's needed for complete alchemy, but I'm using it because I'm using a different alchemy mod, and that's supposed to help with the respawn rates, which I have set to, I believe, a week. So fish and plants will respawn correctly. Fish, I suppose, is another major necessity, because some mods will use it to remember your settings. So that's always nice to have. Stay at system home. I suppose that's very much a necessity too. Because as we all know, in the special edition, when you go, when you open up the system page, it puts you on. I forget what it puts you on, but this actually puts you on the page where you
Brian,
can
where are you
save.
streaming on?
I'm streaming on YouTube.
Alright, I'm gonna boot up YouTube then.
All right, and that's my good friend Ryan, in the background. Now I don't know what NetScript framework does, but I know it's needed for some of the mods that I use. Immersive first person, that's pretty much a must-have as well. Though I suppose you could live without it, but you never know. Just lets you see more of yourself when you're in for first person mode. Third person camera overhaul. I can't play without this mod. It's just, ever since I found it, I can't live without it. It allows you to set up your third person view much more smoothly. Because sometimes I want to see, who's behind me or off to the side of me when I'm in combat. Store name utility is for a naming mod that I have that names all the NPCs. This will actually store the names that it comes up with and saves them, so should something happen, you can always recall that name. Of course, configurable real names, which is the one that actually gives all those unnamed NPCs names. Wash that blood off. I came upon this mod like a year ago, and it's like, you wouldn't think that you would need it, but I like this because it allows you, how, your character will like get bloody in combat, and usually the only way to solve it is by taking off your items and then putting back on. This allows you to jump into rivers or lakes or whatever, and it will wash that blood off for you without having to do that. Kind of like taking a bath. How about that? I just recently added outfit switcher because I wanted to give it a try. This will allow you to store your own outfits instead of having to use the SkyUI favorites and recall system. Just something I wanted to give a try. There's another mod out there that I would really like to find again, but it's an outfit storage system like that, but you can make it work off of conditions. So like if it starts snowing, it will automatically switch to your snow outfit, for you. Or if you enter a city, you can have it will automatically switch to an outfit that you have saved. But I don't know the name of that mod, and I would really like to find it. I don't know where it is. Race menu, of course, everybody should know that one. Just adds a ton of options for making your character. Console util, I'm not sure exactly what that does, but without that I can't use my favorite follower mod, and we'll be talking about that. Remember lockpick angle. I suppose this might be a cheat, but I don't see it that way. This will, like, if your lockpick breaks, you'll be able to use this to, when you start lockpicking again, it will just pick up at that angle. So that's usually a must-have for me. SSIRT, it changes the level up menu and perk tree view with different textures. Let's see here. Longer in rental. This is something I recently added because I'm not using Perseid's rental overhaul. This one allows you to just actually stay for like 3 days or a week. There's no like reduction in cost, but it just adds that option, which I think is nice. Encounter zones unlocked. I don't know if many people know about this one, but excuse me. In most cases, the first time you enter a dungeon or a cave or some ruins or whatever, it will be locked in at that level when you first entered, and it will never um, change after that. This makes it so that the places that you visit will actually level up with you, so that way it will at least stay challenging, as challenging as Draugrs usually are. Um, see here, Fuzroda, of course. This is just for those followers who don't have their own custom voices, or I suppose that's the best example. This can this adds like a lip sync, so their lips will actually move to the text. So at least if you don't hear it, you're actually seeing their mouth move. You know. And then for my major level up stuff is Skyrim Unbound Reborn. I can't live without that mod. Normally I would use alternate start, but I prefer Skyrim Unbound. It lets me control exactly how I want to make my character. Of course, I have the Skyrim skill and capper. Then Grace as my major character creation overhaul. I'm really intrigued at this. I've never really gotten very far with a character, but I would really like to see how this goes as the character levels up into the higher levels. But it really starts you from a nobody into a somebody. And of course, my uncapper. Some of you are familiar with that. Uh, and of course, it has my own design philosophy to it. So you'll actually have. It's meant on starting you out from a nobody to a somebody. I built it along the lines of Grace, but it will work with just about anybody. Anything that you use if you like the philosophy that I have about it. Let's go to the web page and we can talk about my mod here. So, the skill caps are pretty average as most are, but honestly, I don't know much about these, but I don't want them to get too powerful, so I've just kept it at the average settings. Now I've tried to explain a lot of what the different settings are in the uncapper. The level skill experience multiplier is what modifies the experience which you end up actually receiving. This part is inherently, I guess you could say, inherently setting the difficulty of actually learning a skill. So since alchemy is one of those few skills where you can do it a lot, of course I've gave it a really low experience multiplier because it's just the way the beast works, I guess you could say. Alteration, all of these have their own pretty much settings. The only ones that actually still level up normally are lockpick, smithing, and sneak and speechcraft. The second multiplier in the skill uncapper is a matter of how quickly it takes for people to learn. And this is entirely dependent on your level. Now, I've tried to start it at a slow pace and build up to a quicker pace, because as you level up, it should become, at least from my frame of reference, it should become easier to learn the more you practice in something. I don't know if that's how a lot of people would see it, but that's the way I developed the uncapper. Um, let's see here, the third and final modifier of experience. Uh, let's see here. I'll just read it off. The third and final modifier sets an additional multiplier depending on the base skill level, independent for each skill. So in essence, you are leveling up 28 to 50% slower depending on the skill involved. I'm not trying to slow it down too much, but if you've played vanilla Skyrim, then you know you can level up pretty quickly. And so I've tried to put a stop in that. So the higher your level becomes, the lower your, the more difficult it becomes to actually progress. The most essential part is the perks per level that you earn. Now, I like how a lot of other mods have given you like a bonus when you first start off. I couldn't figure out how to add that to as playing a first level at starting at first level, so I set it for second level. So second level, you're going to get your 3 perks, and this is my way of saying is this is basically your initial training at level 1. The things that you want to, you know, are your interests at that point. And as you see, I've broken it up into the tier levels that you might be familiar with a lot of the way Skyrim was set up. So at level 1 to 10, you're just a novice. At 11 to 20, you're an apprentice. 20 to 30, you're a journeyman. 30 to 40, an adept. 40 to 50, an expert. And level 50 to 60, you're a master. And anywhere beyond that, as we know, the game is hard coded for usually a level 80 cap. So I've tried to, break it up as you can see. So like level 50, you're the best at what you do. Level 60, people envy what you can do, and at level 70, you're a legend. Um, breaking up the perk progression. I have it set so that you'll still gain your 10 perks per the 10 levels, but I've progressively slowed it down, as you'll see, because you'll have levels where you won't like earn a perk. Because as the better you get, the less likely that you're gonna uh, uh, learn those special techniques. So it becomes progressively harder. The way I think it should be is it should become progressively harder to earn more perks as you level up. So that's one thing I did. So like for example, at level 3, you're not going to earn a perk, but with the 3 that you get at level 2, and by the time you reach level 10, you should have your 10 perks because you're going to get 2 perks every 10 levels. Now, I'm pretty sure at like maybe like level 18 or 19, you probably wouldn't have a perk because I've actually started reducing uh, perk progression, and then it's going to get worse. You know, probably level 6 or 7, you probably wouldn't get a perk. I mean, 26 or 7, excuse me. But as you can see, by the time you're, like a legend, you're only going to earn a perk point like every 3 levels. This goes in a backward progression than most of these skill uncappers do. But like I said, I built this around the whole feeling of, role playing, the classic role play experience. Uh, so, ability points, your health, stamina, magicka. Though I've, let me get my thoughts here because I have a hard time expressing myself. But the way I figure it works, you don't get a lot of progress as you level up. But the more you do level up, you'll see improved progress. So, for example, health, stamina, magicka at level 1 are only going to give you 6 points. But at level 10, it's going to change to 8 points. 20 is going to be 10 points. And at level 30, you'll get 12 points for every level. And after you've peaked at that point, then it will start slowing back down again. Carry weight. I have carry weight being adjusted by health and stamina level ups, but these are pretty small adjustments because I've tried to keep it, down to earth. So, like at level 2 for health and stamina, as you can see, your increase is going to be pretty small, but the more you work out, the more you train, the higher you'll be able to increase that cap. So by the time you're like level 40, you're earning 10 pounds for every level up that you choose into that, you know, well, not 10, probably 6 if you're taking stamina, and 4 points if you're taking health. But once you've reached that level 40, it'll start slowing back down again until you're earning nothing. And since health is muscle, I've at least allowed that to progress even just a little bit. But once you've peaked your stamina, you're not going to earn anymore because there is a limit. All right, so I guess we've talked about that. Let me go back to, and we can talk about the interface that I built. Of course, I'm using a quality world map. I'm using the, not the stone roads, but the dirt roads change. I'm using Miss Anthology menu. Let's see here. What does that do again? Oh yeah, I chose this particularly because I wanted a leather-bound book look on my main screen. So it's gonna come up with this when I start the game. I really like this look because I wanted that feel of opening up a book, when you're starting your game or creating a new character. Just a little bit, The main menu design replacer puts everything in the middle instead of off to the right. So when you're choosing, starting a new game, creating a new character, it's going to be in the middle. If you've played Skyrim, then you know that better message box and better dialogue controls are a must-have if you don't want to make a lot of mistakes when you're trying to switch between the text menus. Sky UI, of course, is the major overhaul to the user interface. Sky HUD changes the whole setup, so the placement of certain elements of your HUD are in a different area. Sovngarde is my text overhaul, so the lettering will have a different look. Now, I normally use a different loading screen mod, but I decided to go with something different and use the lore loading screen. And it makes it look like you're looking at a different page in like a book or something like that. And this is a nice example of what it will look like. And it comes in different languages, as you can see. But it's very, I don't know, down to earth, which is kind of what I've been going for with the whole setup here. I've got to have display enemy level. That's really helpful, knowing whether or not, I get in a fight and I start tackling somebody, and I see, oh my goodness, they're like level 20 and I'm like level 10. I pretty much know I've met my match and I should probably think about running away. Now, I normally don't use iHUD, but I decided to use this because I like taking pictures in game. So, I mean, I know other people use it for a different reason, but I'm using it mostly because I want to get rid of that HUD if I want to take a nice picture. I am solely using Immersive Sounds Compendium for my audio overhaul. Normally I'm using like three different mods for like my audio, and I decided to just simplify it really. And I think this one covers the most as far as that goes. For the music, I'm using the high quality music mod, which makes the normal music in the game sound better. I didn't want to stray too far away from the basic core theme of the music that Skyrim has. And so there's only one other mod that I've added for the music, which is called Elder Songs #1 Illusion. This is a very interesting mod. Because I took a listen to a lot of the songs here, and they are very. I stuck with that as well. Went with AOS this time, left the others out. Yeah, that, and I was trying to limit as much conflict as I could from my load order instead of going crazy. Because you never know what might make a game crash or whatever. But the songs in this particular pack are very close to the feel of the base game, so you should hardly notice a change with the kind of music you're used to hearing. But this will have added, let's see here, how many songs does this add? Doesn't really say, but this guy is a really good composer, and I really like the music. Okay, it contains 2 albums that have 44 minutes worth of new music. I wonder if I should add lucidity, though, myself. But for the time being, I was more concerned about making sure I could make a stable and simple mod list without getting too complex. That's the music we're listening to right now. I'll probably get a strike, but oh well. Let's see here. My main texture mods are Noble Skyrim, of course. This is a good base for just about everything. I haven't decided if actually using what do you call it again? You know how they have a performance-friendly version of all the Skyrim textures? I don't know if that really makes much of a difference in the end. I mean, so I haven't used it. I don't know if you use it, Magus, but the performance-friendly Skyrim textures, or whatever it's called. Yeah. I'm using 2K Nordic Tents retexture. Well, I'll show it to you guys so you can see why I chose this particular mod. Yeah, I really like the the textures on these because it actually gives more of a patchwork. Yeah. Gives a patchwork feel to the tents that you're using. This is like vanilla, and this would be the change textures. And I really like this setup here for the as you can see, this is what it's going to look like now, and this was the original. I think this is what the Imperial tent, and this is the new version of it. Let's see here, backside view of it. Let's see here. Here we go. Here shows another one of the tents. I did not mean to do that. I'll show some other views of the tent. But I just feel like a lot of the default textures are really flat for normal Skyrim when it comes to the tents, and I just wanted to add that little extra thing to it. Let's see, Majestic Mountains is what I'm using for my mountains. I mean, just taking a look at some of these pictures, you'll understand why I chose to use these textures. I mean, I think it really fits the native Skyrim feel. So that's why I chose that one. See here, back to. See, I'm using Rudy HQ Nordics runes. Now, who wouldn't want their ruins looking like this? I mean, these are very nice textures. And I'm tired of the all see, a lot of the textures in Skyrim are really similar, and I just feel like this adds a little extra oomph to all this. Let's see, Renthal's workbench I added because I saw how it looked in your game, and I said, now that actually looks like a workbench that somebody would actually do work at, and not just a simple table. I mean, this is awesome, in my opinion. So glad I saw you using this mod. Very immersive. And the lockpicking interface redone. I decided to. Normally, I'm using a different lock interface, but I decided to go with this one because I'm trying to keep that Nordic feel to everything in my game. So I'm using this particular lock interface. And I do have to admit, yeah, the Renthal stuff is pretty damn good. I guess we'll get to the major. Let me click this so we're only showing what I have active here. For my gameplay overhauls, I'm using Populated Skyrim Hell Edition, but I cut it in half so it won't be, entirely overcrowded. I wouldn't want that, honestly. It's just silly. I mean, especially if you were to walk into a tavern and it's just like jam-packed full of people, which I've seen. using that mod without, cutting it in half. And well, I like being able to move around. um, it doesn't have a lot of conflicts at all, so I didn't have to worry too much about that. And of course, that goes in line with the configurable real names. So a lot of those NPCs will now have names, just to give a little more immersion to it all. I'm using Hephaestus as my simple crafting overhaul. It's not a very well-known mod, but it does what I need it to do. It's not very, it's not a big crafting overhaul. He's changed some of the crafting recipes, so they're in line with some their like appearance. Fur armor can be made without having a perk. This allows you to actually craft linen wraps, which is one big thing I wanted to having the ability to do. I still haven't added the tailoring aspect of the game. I think tailoring would be a very cool thing to have, um, but I haven't chosen a mod that would allow you to like make clothing. I haven't really done a lot of looking for that, and this one actually adds the ability to make silver swords, great swords, and allow you to make silver arrows and bolts, which I think is awesome in itself. He's added some recipes for melting down armor and weapons into ingots. He's kept it pretty simple there. He's added the creating charcoal so you can mix with iron ore to make steel, which I think is a pretty big important thing to have. He's added the ability to craft silver and gold ingots by melting down rings and amulets and the like. He's added recipes for breaking down leather, hide, and fur armor pieces, but only into like leather strips. Um, he's added recipes for crafting armors of various factions. And as he says here, most of the recipes require the advanced armor perk to be, and you have to be a member of that particular faction to be able to make them. And he's shown you what you can actually make, like the unenchanted versions of the Dark Brotherhood armor, or unenchanted versions of the Thieves Guild, blades, armor, and weapons after you've done the Alduin's Wall quest, which would actually be pretty freaking cool. Dawnguard armor and weapons, vampire armors if you join the Volkahir vampire clan, unenchantable version of the Nightingale armor, Imperial armor and weapons if you join the Legion, and Stormcloak armor after you join them for both normal and officer's armor. Like I said, it's a very simple mod that doesn't change a lot, and that's why I like it. As you can see, it doesn't have a lot of endorsements or downloads, but personally I think this is my favorite one to use. And I'm using Valkyrie as my perk overhaul. I'm trying to keep it simple. Not I like the perks in this one over like some of the other replacers because I'm trying not to go too crazy with it. I'm using alchemy potions and food adjustments, which as my major alchemy overhaul. I like the changes that he made to some of the potions, and now they'll work like over time with that mod. I'm not using the food adjustments that come with it though. Alchemy additions is something I just recently added. Um, I think I was talking with who was I talking with? It was Master Zero. Yeah, he told me about this mod, so I took a look at it. It allows you to craft new ingredients at a new crafting station called a reagent. So you'll be able to make potions that have like the cloak effects. Um, the allow you to make potions that have the the skin spells for alteration as well. It's a nice little addition, which I think is really cool. Uh, Honed metal, of course, I think everybody should know what they don't know. This is a great mod for just if you don't want to pick up the arts of blacksmithing yourself or enchanting yourself. You can have somebody else do it for a price, of course. Excuse me. Trade and barter. I can't live without that mod. It's pretty much an essential part of my load order. um, just really makes buying and selling that much better because the vanilla economy really isn't all that great, honestly. Um, there are still changes that I would want to make, especially like food, because I think food's just way too costly in the game, and it shouldn't be. It's just food, which is something that Alchemy Potions tries to change as well, the price of the food and all that. I'm using Ultimate Combat as my combat overhaul, just something simple, not not really that complicated. It just adds that little bit of extra that I want in my game. Oh, excuse me very much. Ultimate Dragons as my dragon overhaul. I really like that one. Which reminds me, I need to get a dragon retexture. It makes the dragons actually a lot harder to fight as they should be. I mean, they are. I mean, in the vanilla, I think friggin' giants are a little harder to actually take down than a dragon would be in the normal game, and that just doesn't make sense to me. Now, Resistance Rescaled. This is a fantastic mod. I think it's pretty new too. Um, it, okay, it was released last year in October. Um, but what it does, it completely changes the scale for uh, let's see here, diseases, poisons, elemental spells, and just regular damage. Because as we all know, the the damage system in Skyrim is really geared towards the player and often doesn't make a lot of sense. This helps keep them in line with each other, all those different things, and have an actual cap, which you can actually change with this as well. But so let me see here. Simply Knock, which is a very simple mod, but is a pretty cool one because now you can actually knock on the door, and if there's somebody inside, they'll actually reply, and you can actually ask them to let you in or whatever. In the case of like a thief, this is a good mod because now you can knock to see who's actually inside a house or not, you know, before you actually go in. Of course, a lot of my mods are added in the secondary gameplay overhaul. My court wizards wear better. I've created now they actually wear college robes and a specific gear that amplifies their abilities. I want to do an improved. I want to make a update on this. So there are different kinds of outfits for the different um, court wizards. Yes, to so each court wizard is going to have a different style and abilities. So each court wizard will have their own specific benefits. Like let's see, Farengar would be a destruction mage, so he should have destruction gear, etc., etc. Um, and of course, I'm using my unique loot barrels and sacks, my unique harvest, and my lootable things, which I've just released a current update. And I am now working on a new update for lootable things, having taken the time to look at how dynamic things, the mod dynamic things works. I wanted to simulate that a little bit more, add a little more variation. But that's going to be coming along. As you can tell, I have a hard time getting my thoughts together. The Bounty Hunter Bounty Quest tweaks. It changes the rewards that you get for doing the bounty quests. It's designed to work based off of the level of your character, and in turn the level of so the higher your level is, the greater the reward will be for doing these quests, because you can command a bigger price. Sacrosanct Vampires of Skyrim. I've never really used this mod, but I wanted to try something new and different. So Sacrosanct is my vampire overhaul. I have tried the other one called Sanguinaire, I think it's called. I've given that a try, and I didn't like certain aspects of it. So this is more of a just a perk overhaul than anything, but it just does change certain things up about the vampire. So like I said, I'm trying to keep everything simple and streamlined. Yes. And of course, Growl, which I can't speak more highly about. This is like, Enei just comes out with some of the best mods ever. I mean, this Werebeast overhaul is just fantastic. Luck overhaul, because it's just too easy to pick locks, honestly, in the default game. I mean, you can be a novice and, you know, unlock an adept or expert lock if you're patient enough, and to me that doesn't make a lot of sense. So this puts hard limits on what you can open or not, as the ability to, yes, indeed, Eneirim. Yep. What was I saying? The lock overhaul lets you smash locks, which is a feature that I've wanted. And of course, narrative loot. I added this back in recently. I just really like what it adds to things. It adds to like the chests and things that you can just find. It's a great alternative to, let's say, like Legacy of the Dragonborn, that you don't want to like have a lot of Legacy adds just a lot of stuff, and this is a nice alternative if you don't want to use that. We could take a look here. This is the most recent update adds a store in see what is it? Solitude, I believe. I don't know if that's Solitude or Winterhold. Oh yeah, this is Winterhold. So there's a fine wares store where you can pick up a lot of the items or sell the items that you find in the game. Uh, Ranging from books to paintings to, as you can see, Morrowind style clutter. Um, a lot of the stuff is really nice and worth it. It adds a lot more things that you could pick up and find in chests that would actually be worth taking instead of just a lot of the old humdrum stuff. Um, so there's an example of some Dwemer style water pipe. um, he's added the ability to craft some of these dinnerware items now, so you can play as just a normal smith. Uh, Silver candlestick, very cool. I guess this is an inside look of the store in Windtown, which is pretty cool, I think. What the hell? There is a table on top of the guard's head, I guess. uh, let's see here, an ancient Nordic horn. That looks pretty cool. And this latest update is really nice. This shows off some of his other books that you can buy or find. Let's see here, all the different kind of dining ware. So are we back at the beginning again? Here shows a simple painting. Let's see here. That shows off a lot of his dinnerware items. Really nice. Okay, well, let's see here. Now that I've showed off his mod a little, let's see here. He makes other mods like Realm of Lorcan. I'm pretty sure some people are familiar with that mod. He's got some location mods too, but this is probably my favorite version, a favorite mod of his. And let's see here, he's also included 62 new treasures and miscellaneous items, which may be found in chests and in pockets. Forsworn will have more bones and tribal items. Civil War actors may hold valuable missives. Snow Elf chests may contain ancient Falmer valuables. Skeletons will sometimes drop skulls or bones. Let's see here. And this is where I got that the extended stay mod from. He talked about it, so this is where I got the idea for grabbing it. See, what's this? Decorator helper. Freeze items in place and make fine adjustments to the placement and rotation of items. This one is handy for placing paintings on walls. It also enables you to reposition any static. Oh, really? Ooh. Let's take a look at that. I'll track it. See here. Is this kind of like see here. Done, unlock, take, delete, include. Done, place, restore, help. Oh, this is, it shows him moving a chair. Okay. Yeah, I was thinking about adding some kind of object mod. This would be very cool to have. Let's go ahead and see what are the requirements for it. Well, then I will definitely add this mod, because I would love to have the ability to move things around and set my own items up. Very cool. See, that should have downloaded already. Let's go ahead and add that. See here, decorator helper. I guess this would be considered a core mod. So we'll just stick it right there. And I'm pretty sure it has an ESP, doesn't need move. It should be up near the top then. So let's put it, yeah, we'll just put it right there. Okay, so let's see here. Survival. Okay, this is a lot of my big concepts about my game. I am using a mod called Hunting in Skyrim. I know there's another hunting mod out there. I chose this one in particular because it's has a lot more of a simplified process to it, but it adds a lot of neat additions that I think make a lot of sense and that I would want in my game. It adds 2 guild locations, one in the Falkreath Hold and one in the Rift. Realistic animal skinnings. Some of the animals are actually gonna drop and leave a skinned version of the animal. You'll get the ability to make traps. 4 new custom skills with awesome new abilities. I haven't gotten very far along with this to know what they are yet. One of the things I really love is it adds the portable alchemy as an option, which I think is very cool. Reel fishing using a fishing rod. So it does quite a bit. It adds fur hoods and fur hoods and cloaks, which is really neat. Increased pelt height and hide prices, so you can actually make a living doing that. And animal dens, which are little new dungeons that you can stumble across. Let's see here. I think this actually adds some little quests that you can find. I'm not sure if this is the one or if it was something else, but I think it was this one. It adds hunting quests that you can do. Now I've really stuck with realistic needs and diseases, just to have an alternative to eye needs, which I love. But like I said, I wanted to do something different, so we're using that. And of course, one of the major things about that is it has a diseases overhaul as well. Wet and cold. I know that sounds more like a core mod, doesn't it, Wet and Cold? Great mod if you're not using it. Just adds a little more immersion to the game. You jump in a lake, you're actually going to drip water. You get cold, your breath is actually going to puff up, puff out. It adds backpacks to the game, adds cloaks, other kinds of survival gear. Um, I came across this nice little model a few weeks back, and I think it adds another level of, which is great for the whole hunter role. Let's see, let me show you what the backpacks look like here. I mean, I really like the look of these backpacks. They're very survival oriented, as you can see. Just a nice little change from using campfire and frostfall, which are great mods in themselves, but like I said, I wanted something a little more simplified. I wanted to add the immersion without it becoming too obvious. See, those are just really cool backpacks. And of course, the current backpacks, there's a different style for vigilance, hunters, elves, stormcloaks, and merchant backpacks. Okay, campsite and frostbite are my two main replacers for the most famous camping and getting cold replacers. Uh, Campsite has a very simplified placement setting. Um, the tents are the ones that already exist in the game, so you're not adding anything new, just what's already there. You can get a cooking pot to your campfire, and you can now you'll be able to cook from them. As it says, you can pitch your tent anywhere in the open world except near or within settlements, and it's a little picky, so you got to find a good place that you can pitch it. You can actually use the camps as storing areas, so you could like pitch a tent somewhere, and if you leave it up, you can use it as an area for storing your items. Placed items will align with the terrain automatically or will be returned to your inventory with a warning if terrain is too uneven or steep. Very simplified placement, just 3 or more firewood. You can, of course, add a cooking pot, add a map marker, so you can easily go back to your camp, which I think is pretty cool. Okay, back to the survival mods. Frostbite is a very simplified version of Frostfall. It's a little less picky, and it's just based off of what you're wearing and if you have a cloak or not. And it works off of that. It's a very simple. It has an option to select items that select specific food that would be considered warming, like soups and stews, or like mead or ale. If you wanted, you could add those so they will keep you warm. Expanded jewelry and crafting. Now, I've even never used this mod in particular, but like I said, I'm trying new and different things. This will add It expands on the crafting to add dwarven, orcish, elven, glass, ebony, daedric, and dragon bone versions of jewelry.
Battery low.
Oop, gotta plug my headset in for a second.
Charging battery.
Alrighty, there we go. Let's see here. Usable lanterns. I love this mod. This is a very simple version of wearable. It's like another version of wearable lanterns if you're familiar with that mod. It just simply turns the lanterns that are already in the game so you can actually use them. They're treated like torches in a way. Yeah, so I'll show you some pictures here so you can see. So if you get like a lantern replacer, you'll actually be able to pick up the lanterns that are here and put them in your game. So you'll actually be using them. Just turns them into torches, which I think is really cool. But that reminds me, let me look up something really quick. There is it Lanterns of Skyrim? Let me there's a mod that adds different kind of lanterns based on the different locations in Skyrim. Is this it? All lanterns are moved by the wind. Let's see, hey. Flying insects around lanterns. Lantern workers. I'm not sure this is the one. You need to take a look at the pictures. No, this is not the mod that I'm looking for. Let's see here. Is it Lanterns of Skyrim? Let me take a look here. Or did I just look at this? Yeah, this is not it. Wonder why I can't find it. I've used it before, so why doesn't it show up? It was a mod that had different lanterns for the different areas of Skyrim. Let's see if it's this one. No. That's of course I've used Pretty Lantern Replacer before. Let me see here. Is it this one? Yes, this is the one right here, Medieval Lanterns of Skyrim. Increases the variety of candles, lanterns used in Skyrim. So different regions will have different lantern styles. Yeah, this is it right here. I'm gonna give this a download. need any of these patches. No, but I'm wondering if it's going to conflict with the holds. I guess we'll find out later. Anyway, back to our list. Now, I added Hunter Senses. This is a really neat little mod. Since I use a grass overhaul and stuff like that, it's going to make it hard to find things. This will allow you to add 2 powers to your game. Let's see here. There's one called, okay, yeah, here we go. Hunter Senses. Namesake power causes you to briefly enter a state of heightened awareness. Nearby creatures will become highlighted. Living creatures will glow red, and the undead or just plain dead will glow blue. This is great if you need to find a corpse that you've missed. If you happen to use the Apocalypse spell pack, this ability pairs nicely with the Alarm Novice Alteration spell. And then Hunter's Intuition, which allows you to size up a target. You know, so you can see, oh, is this person going to be worth, is this person stronger than you? Is he weaker than you? So that's the reason why I added that. But we'll go ahead and give that an install. This should pair nicely with the usable lanterns mod. Let's see, medieval lanterns. Okay, and we will move that. Let's see here, where would this go? Let's put it right here. And let's place this before the holds, so the holds will win out. Let's see, where is it? Here we go. So we'll put it right there. Okay, let's see, back to what we are doing here. So weathers. So far I've been doing pretty good keeping my my load list down. I'm using, let's see, Cathedral Weathers with diverse seasons. I've got Wonders of Weather, which is just like an improvement on raindrops and adds rainbows. I actually got to see one the other day, actually. First rainbow I've actually saw in game. It was pretty freaking awesome. Improved rain and fog textures for cathedrals. A darker nights patch. I am using luminosity lighting overhaul as my collective overhaul, and I added the Cathedral Weathers MCM menu, which is really nice, so I can change my game on the fly without using the spell. I'm using Landscapes Cathedral Concept as my base for the land in general. Northern Grass with the patch for it. Eeks Renthal Floral Collection. Of course, I needed to add this so I don't crash anymore. I've got Depths of Skyrim and Underwater Overhaul. See, I wanted to show this one to you guys. It overhauls the underwater environment and adds content to the Sea of Ghosts. So adds new grass types, coral, giant kelp. Adds 1,000 fish all over the sea, no slaughterfish. Adds several dozen unmarked treasure and points of interest for you to find. Coral forest teeming with life. Adds groups of horkers swimming across the sea. Fixes 100 plus instances of exposed rock. Fixes seams in the ocean floor. This is the only mod I know that really does this. And we can take a look at some of the pictures of that. I mean, doesn't that look friggin' awesome? That looks like an ocean you would want to actually swim and explore. See a dead dragon corpse at the bottom of the ocean. Very cool. See here. So let you see some of the fish that are swimming around now. Oh wow, look at that dragon head. It's got like arrows or something sticking in it. Yeah. And there's a warrior right there, still holding onto a spear with his boat down at the bottom. That's pretty freaking cool. Let's see here. Just some more pictures of what it looks like underwater. To me, this is a very must-have mod, really. Because just those little details that you don't even think about, you know. I added a Gilder Green overhaul to make it look different. I'll show you some of the pictures here so you can see what it looks like. I mean, it looks like a huge gnarled tree, which I think is very cool. And of course, after the quest, it'll look like this. And I think that looks pretty freaking cool. See here, underwater treasures. Excuse me. Let's see here. Let me open up this. That's a pretty cool mod. Oh, I forgot to track it, so I'll go ahead and track it. Now, this is a port of Jokereen's underwater treasures. I know Jokereen. She's helped me a bit with some of my modding. We've talked here and there. I wouldn't really say I know her very well, but she has made some really good mods. In fact, I ported when I first started doing Skyrim Special Edition. I ported one of her mods myself because I loved using it so much. Because it adds it was a mod that added new merchants to the cities. You know, some of the cities that didn't have one. Oh, that reminds me. That just reminded me of another mod that I forgot to add. But yeah, this mod adds underwater treasures that you can find in the sea or in rivers or lakes. So just to make you know, some water yeah, she has some really nice mods. Let's see here. See here. I could talk about a few of my own mods that I haven't added, but I haven't decided if I'm going to install my I probably won't install my Bard perks for Valkyrie. Yeah. So Immersive world encounters is probably another must-have if you're not aware of what this mod does. It improves on the kinds of encounters you can come across in your game. 70 new random events. I like to think this is a nice alternative to, say, like Skyrim immersive creatures in a way. It has changed some of the normal vanilla events. I don't know, just a little, just 70, you see here. See, they're all voiced. Yeah, it's just one of those mods that adds some things into the background that just make the world seem more alive, you know. I wish I could say more about it, but I'm a little I really don't know what to say really. But yeah, there's some videos here that will show you what it's all about. Yeah, 70 new random world encounters and 16 world interaction events. Better college application. It's a very simple mod, but it allows you to actually choose which school that you want to which school of magic that you want to prioritize, and you'll actually get the robes for that school to start off, because normally everyone just gets like the destruction robes. Now, faction skill requirements. This is something that we've talked about in the past, Magus. That you were asking about. Let's see here. What does this mod do? At its core, this mod forces the player to develop their skills that pertain to their faction at certain stages within the quest line. For example, the Mages Guild quest line will need to have a player develop their magic skills before they can progress. The same system applies to the Thieves Guild, Dark Brotherhood, and Companion storylines. Let's see here. How does this work? The new stages are implemented in such a way that none of the core quest code is modified in any way. If the player does not meet the skill requirements, they will have to train the required skills. When the requirement is met, then they will be able to proceed in the quest line. This mod does not add any new quests, but rather adds stages to the already existing quests. If the vanilla quest progresses from stage 10 to 20, then this mod will instead make it go from stage 10 to 15. The stage keeps track of the player's skill level until the requirements are met. So yeah, it just keeps you from progressing too quickly in the quest line for each of the different factions. Very neat little mod, because I remember you were asking about something like that in particular. Okay, I don't know why that flashed at me. The companions earn your stripes. Let's see here. This is compatible with that other mod. You will now have to do many more Radiant quests. Animal extermination, hired muscle, trouble in Skyrim in order to get through the whole companion's quest line to earn your status. Uh, no change until the end of Take Up Arms, so you will prove you are worthy, just like in vanilla. Before being asked to talk to Skewer to get the Wolfred fragment, you will now have to do 3 raiding quests instead of 1. Do another 6 raiding quests, which in vanilla is only 1, and only then you will be sent to Gallows Rock by Ayla. So this just slows down the, once again, the quest lines. And from what everything says, it is compatible with the other mod that I just talked about before that. Now, so far, well, I haven't really gotten that far in the testing and all that. I was just been trying to get everything stable, but I would love to be using this with, say, like TPOS2, um, but already a lot of work has gone into implementing holds into the load order. But for the most part, they are, from what little I have done. Let's see here. I'm going to take a quick little break so I can get, a drink and whatnot. So I will be back in just a few minutes.
Mic off. Mic on.
Alright, I am back. Let's see here. Do you do any kind of mod drops or mod requests? I'm not sure what your channel is about, but I'm looking for people that can upload mods to the work in progress, and I'm willing to pay. Excuse me. Well, let me know when you're there, and I can reply to that. I don't know if anybody else is back. Yeah, definitely. I have a Patreon, but I really haven't used it. I just think if somebody wants to, donate, they can use PayPal. Personally, it's good music, isn't it? I love chill music. Mm. I don't know if you're familiar with these two mods, Magus. It's called More Dialogue Options and Miscellaneous Dialogue Edits. And we can go over those mods real quick. Let's see. Let's see. This mod adds dialogue options in a simple and immersive way to improve various conversations in a vanilla game. The responses are all voiced by using the original voice files. New options are meant to feel like they should have been in the game all along. And welcome back, Immortal Cry. Now, I do take mod requests. Whether or not I have the time for it is something else, but if it's something I'm interested in, I would definitely consider it. As far as payment goes, I would rather it be more like a donation. So what they do is enhance the normal uh, dialogue options that are in the game. For example, let's take Maul, for example. We all know what happens when you first get to Riften, and Maul jumps up on you. Uh, he starts to intimidate you to stay out of the Blackbriars, but then without prompt, he changes the subject and asking for work. It's easy to assume that this was done to add an easy way for the player to know that the Thieves Guild exists in Riften. The core of the problem is his response to your question, who are the Blackbriars? He answers, but then he seems to suddenly answer another question that you didn't ask. Who are you? To fix this, I separated the two parts of his answer. Now, after you ask about the Blackbriars, you have two options. The first one asks who he is and shows interest in his business. The second one agrees to stay out of the Blackbriars business and ends the conversation. So it fixes a whole bunch of different dialogues that are in the normal game, such as the delayed burial quest, uh, the Thieves Guild, uh, certain quests with Tunelia taking care of business, and Brynjolf. Well, I have quite a few mods on the Nexus right now in Mortal Cry. And then miscellaneous dialogues edits made by the same person. Pardon me while I'm munching on a cookie here. Um, just give me a second here. And this mod aims to improve dialogue that other mods don't, contributing to make conversations in Skyrim as possible and immersive as possible while taking compatibility into account. It's a collection of many small miscellaneous improvements to dialogue that I found other popular dialogue related mods don't have, such as guard dialogue overhaul and RDO. So and he goes into giving some examples of some of the things that he has changed. Let's see here. For example, sometimes alchemist vendors and court wizards assume the skills and interests of your character by saying something like, "So you're an alchemist then," which can become rather annoying, depending on your character and the amount of roleplay you do while playing. Well, they bother me, so I changed those dialogue lines to allow vendors to say them only to characters that seem like they actually know a thing or two about skills. So now they'll no longer mistake you, for example, a warrior with a mason's shield, for someone who wishes to master the arcane arts. Not only that, Ulfberth, the vendor at War Maidens, and excuse me, Fahada, the Fletcher in Solitude, also receive similar improvements. They will judge your skills with a minimum of common sense now. He's made changes to that work and play with alternate start in Skyrim Unbound, because some of those dialogue options in the vanilla game could use a few changes as well regarding the way rumors spread across the province. I decided to make a few improvements. After improving upon the changes to dialogue lines from those mods and adding those improvements to more dialogue lines that I found, I went a step further and added some alternate lines that can happen instead of the vanilla ones depending on your progress in the main quest. These new lines, voiced of course just like all the others in this mod, are designed to make the conversation flow as well as the vanilla ones without mentioning dragons. Note that you don't need an alternate start mod. I made sure that everything works with the vanilla game. Um, let's see here. But yeah, um, adds a little more to what some of those other mods already do. And what I'm doing in Mortal Cry is going over my load order. This is something that's been asked for a while, so I decided to go over some of the mods that are in my load order, so you know what I'm using. Now I'm using a mod called Convenient Int, which I think is a very cool mod. It adds enchanting, alchemy, cooking, and shared storage to all the inns. So you now have linked storage chests, summonable chests, an option to auto sort function. It shows you a view of the bannered mare. That little thing right there to the left is the enchanting table that he's added. Let's see here. All inns now have cooking stations. Auto sorting. Feminine pickup animations, huh? Sounds like something on Lover's Lab. Oh, really? Hmm. I do play a lot of female characters, but I got a few male ones too. In fact, the character I want to do once I've gone over this is actually do a female mage character. What, you're looking for a mod that does that? As far as animations go, I know pretty much nothing on how to do that. Oh, you mean porting the mod for Xbox? Oh, well, there's that. Yeah. I have ported a few mods to Xbox, but those are mostly my own. Wow. Well, at least until you get a computer, right? Don't they already have a few body mods for Xbox? Oh, looks like the music stopped. Let's see here. Yeah, let's go ahead and turn that back on. I am using CBBE and I'm using my own custom preset, which I actually just built the other day. Hey Magus, do you think Xbox would allow meshes to be converted to Xbox? You know, like from body slide? Would that actually work? Well, we are all pervs in one way or another. See, somebody messaged me. Yeah. Well, I think you can't really do nude mods on Bethesda.net. That kind of stuff wouldn't be really allowed. Anyway, okay, let's talk about the magic mods that I'm using currently. I'm using the Genuinely Intelligent Soul Trap mod, so I don't waste any souls when I'm capturing them. Just something I don't do quite enough of. Uh, that's sketchy, man. No, I'm sorry, I wouldn't do anything like that. Yeah, sorry, bud. Well, I know he is. If something's not allowed, I'm not going to do it. Like I said, Mortal Cry, best bet, get yourself a computer. Then you can do what you want. Because that's sketchy as fuck. Excuse my language, but yeah. Well, why don't we get back to what we were actually talking about and get off this subject. Now, I will definitely take requests for mods that I've made and convert them over to Xbox, but like Magus has said, I'm not going to do anything that's going to break the guidelines for Xbox and Bethesda Net. And I'd like to point out that this is a stream that's actually going to be up on YouTube. So you need to be careful about what you're talking about. Because this has been recorded. Well, you tell me what kind of mods you're looking for, and maybe I can help you. But sometimes I have issues uploading to Xbox, so I don't do it often. But back to the subject at hand, magic mods. Have you ever tried the tone-bound Megas? So let's talk about tone-bound then. A new version of Outfit Switcher has just been released, so I'll have to download that. I'm not currently using Dynalod with my load order. Yeah, this is my default package of choice when it comes to a magic overhaul, because it adds a lot of the old spells from the original, some of the other games. I don't know if you can actually do animation mods on Xbox. I don't think you can actually do animations, can you? I'm not sure. But I don't even know how to make animations myself. But yeah, this is a nice mod. I'm gonna go over it briefly. So people who are watching this stream can know about it a little. The focus is strictly on the magical aspect of Skyrim, expanding on the lackluster style of combat with new spells, stabs, scrolls, and more. Tone-bound won't only expand creativity and utilization, but to every hybrid. Absorb sneak from unknowing victims to enhance your stealth. Oh, that's pretty cool. Lighten load to strengthen your warrior. Yeah, that's what I thought. This mod adds spells from Morrowind and Oblivion. New spells designed upon vanilla principles. Stats and scrolls of most spells included in add-on based on vanilla design. High quality visuals. Immersive reanimations. New method of reanimating corpses. Proper destruction magic benefits for vampires. All purchasable through vendors. Skill enhancing stabs. Yes, I really love this aspect of it myself. Actually, using stabs will improve your magical skills, which I think is very cool. Wait, Flower Girls is on Xbox? Hmm. Oh, I must have already. Hmm. Okay, Winter Sun. If you don't know about this mod, I would definitely suggest taking a look at it. It adds a new religion system to the game, allowing multiple deities to be worshipped depending on your race. New gods, new benefits and abilities. Well, when it comes to stuff like that, I would definitely defer to Magus because he is very prominent in the Xbox modding scene. I mean, he does a lot for Xbox. Where was I? I was talking about Winter Sun. I really like this mod because it adds another element of immersion to the game.
Ryan, you know I stream full.
Huh?
You know I've been sitting here watching.
Have you? Cool.
Yep. I
Well,
figured I'd owe it to you.
I hope you're at least enjoying it.
I am.
Though I'm yeah, I would really like to, hey guys in chat, I would really like to turn the conversation back to this and stop talking about Xbox requests that cannot be done. Can we get back to this and stop talking about it? No worries, Magus. It's just there's no point talking about it anymore because you've already stated why. And I'd like to actually get back into what we were talking about. So as we were talking about Winter Sun, I'm sure a lot of you already know about this mod, but for those who don't, it adds new gods for every race, so you can worship something unique and different, including the Daedric Princess. You actually have to worship and pray during the day to build up your affinity with your god, and by doing so, you unlock new special benefits for worshiping the particular god. And I think, like I said, this just adds another level of immersion to the game that I think is really cool. And I don't know why Cathedral Snow is there. Why is Cathedral... Oh, that's because it's a texture. Okay, never mind. Exactly. I mean, gosh, this guy alone has completely changed the way you can play Skyrim just by using all his mods. Now, I'm using immersive horses in my load order instead of convenient horses. So I've got the craftable horse barding, so I can make armor for my horses that they can actually use, which I think is really cool. And I've never used it before. I'm using the weapons, armor, and clothing cathedral concept for my base textures for weapons and armor. It may not be everybody's cup of tea, but I'm really enjoying it. We can take a quick look at what things look like. It's not going to be as good as, let's say, like the rustic textures by I forget his name off the top of my head, but let's see if we can zoom in a little bit here. I can show you what I'm talking about. It has a very clean aesthetic to the textures. I don't know if you can tell that in this particular one. It's not going to be as defined or rich like what Gamwich can do, but so as we can see, I mean, it's still real nice looking. And it saves me from having to use 2 or 3 different mods for just one thing. I mean, here's the glass armor. I mean, that looks pretty kicking to me. And the dwarven stuff is actually really nice looking. Like I said, the textures are what I would call very clean. did I do there? Oh, okay. Whoa, dang it. Okay, there we go. I
Be right
think.
back, Brian. I'm just gonna go get a drink.
Yep. Take your time, bud. See, I feel like I chose this particular overhaul because I feel like it fits the Waiko Winsong immersive character overhaul. I think it fits well with that, the whole concept, at least of it. Um, at least to me. Here's the Elven armor. I mean, like I said, it's not the best, but they're definitely high quality. It's just a different look that I like. Yeah. And here's the another version of the dragon armor. Definitely an improvement. And here's the this is the ebony armor, I think, which looks really friggin' cool to me. Let's see, this is the Blade's armor, I believe. Now, I was actually very tempted to use the Cathedral character overhaul that was built, but I went with Waiko because I really like the changes that it makes to the NPCs. So that's why I stuck with Waiko. That's just my favorite NPC overhaul. Let's see here. You can see some of these in game. Let's see. Where are the weapons? So I wanted to show off some of the weapons. Here we go. Now the weapon retextures are very impressive. I think this is probably the best part about this mod, are the weapons. I think this is the, what, a great axe right here? Yeah, it was a tough choice between those two. And then you can see the texture replacers on the shield are very nice. I like that little spiraling dragon eating its tail there. See, this shows some of the welcome to the stream, Serana. Glad you could join us. Let's see here, we can take a look at some of these other weapons. That must be ebony, probably. But yeah. They are very nice. Very nice. Alright, so then, I might as well go ahead and track it so I don't forget about it. Now, I went with Winter is Coming for my cloak overhaul. I did it in particular because it's a requirement of the Holds city overhaul. I have to say, this is really impressive. The cloaks that you can get with this particular mod. Let's see here. It's perhaps one of my favorite cloak overhauls. simply because of the hoods. The hoods on, let's see, where are those hoods again? There we go. Some of the hoods in this game are really, really nice. Very nice. Yeah, like right here. These armored hoods are probably my favorite aspect. Yes, Cathedral. I guess the chat stream is lagging a little bit behind what I'm showing. Um, so I'll let things catch up a little. And of course I'm using immersive weapons and armor. I mean, let's just face it, Skyrim without immersive weapons and immersive armors is a boring game. And I'm sure everybody knows about them. So let's see here. I'm using the Frankly HD Imperial Armor and Weapons replacer. One of the main reasons why I chose this is because they're wearing pants. Like they should. I can't imagine anybody not wearing armor without pants, especially in Skyrim. Let's see here. Like I said, it's not one of the best, but it's actually pretty good. And works for me. The shields are magnificent. And let's see here, you can show off some of the weapons. And I think they play along nicely with the whole cathedral concept that I've tried to work into this mod selection. Oh yeah, I mean, check out the head on this Warhammer. Is that not friggin' cool? Yep. Gosh, I remember when he was doing his librarian playthrough. That's probably when I watched him the most.
Brian, has anyone ever told you you should be a college professor, teacher, or something?
No, nobody's ever said I should be that. So why would you say that?
Because of how you're lecturing and how, you stirred the conversation from Xbox. You're lecturing kind of like a teacher would.
Yeah. Well, I I have problems expressing myself sometimes, but I try and do my best. Yes, Richard, the librarian, probably my favorite playthrough of his. It's an awesome character. See, I'm using the guard armor replacement mod. I can't live without this mod anymore. It just, what it does is so awesome. Adding the new types of guard armor, because let's face it, the vanilla guard armors are just like weak in comparison. I mean, a guard should be armored well, and I'm a big fan of like the. I mean, who wouldn't like these armors? I mean, they're just fantastic. See the elite armors, some of the shields. Is this as far as it goes? Yeah, it is. But I'm a big fan of the. Let's see if I can find them. Uh, the Windhelm armor. The Windhelm armor looks fantastic in game. I can't, like I said, and it adds some new weapons too, which are always a plus. Okay, let's see here. And then I added well-armored vigilance. This became a favorite after my last few streams of playing. This just makes the vigilance a little more improved, I would say. It adds enchanted versions of the armor. I mean, they're supposed to be warriors that take on demons and undead, so they should naturally have, some kick-ass armor. Now this next mod I wanted to show you in particular, Magus, which I think is really cool. It's called the Immersive Weapons Integration. This mod integrates the weapons and armor that you find from immersive weapons and puts them on all the NPCs, so now, like for example, there are a ton of nice weapons, but you only find them randomly normally. But this integrates all the weapons and puts them into the leveled list in Skyrim. So now NPCs will have some of these things they're wearing and using. Valmar will always have elven and glass equipment, regardless of player level. Common NPCs will no longer have an iron dagger, but one of several common daggers, which I think is really... I mean, in fact, probably the last stream I did, I don't know, I forget if it was on YouTube or if it was on Twitch, but it was happily surprised to see all these different kind of daggers that were in the game. Wealthy MPs will have expanded weapons or daggers. Sailors now have proper cutlasses instead of scimitars. Many static weapons for Skyrim are now more dynamic, drawing from level lists instead of always being identical in every playthrough. So this is a must-have if you're going to use immersive weapons, as far as I'm concerned. It just integrates all of it into the world, so you can actually find them and on other people. Now this next bit right here, better arrows and bows, is something very recent I added. I am using the 50% version of this mod, and what it simply does is bump up the damage that arrows do and what bows do, so they're more deadly. It's also, let's see here, bows added change damage, faster reload. Bows have a higher range. Now included all Skyrim DLC arrows. And I went ahead and I made a expansion on this to include all the immersive bows and arrows that you can find from immersive weapons. So now those will also have the higher damage output and stuff. So that was a patch I made for that. Now, of course, I'm using CBBE, and I'm using a body slide that I just created the other day. I'm going to take some pictures, and eventually I'm going to upload it to the Nexus. I'm calling it That Girl Body Slide. something like a.
You should just call it a body slide, and thought I spell.
I think it's really nice because it's a little more.
And what that means, I just sent it to you in Discord. That hoe over there.
To, no, I'm
Yeah.
mean more. This is more meaning like the girl next door kind of thing. Um, I've tried to make it look a little thicker and more natural.
In other words, that hoe over there. I get you.
Don't let me kick you in the ass.
No, Brian. It sounds like you have a little bit of a side, and because
And I will show you what the body slide looks like here. We'll blow it up so you guys can see. So here, pull it down a little. Okay, this is about as big as it gets at 100. Like it's very thick, but still, I guess what you would call voluptuous in a way.
I swear, Brian, if I knew how to stream on YouTube, I'd stream.
You're cutting out a little bit.
I swear, if I knew how to stream YouTube, I'd stream Grand Theft Auto 5. Because I really think you'd like the connections with that story.
I probably would. And it's not that hard, actually. We'll have to sit down and I'll have to take you through it. I'm using the OBS.
Yeah, we had an issue with me trying to.
Yeah.
Time.
But
anyways, sorry to interrupt your.
That's okay. Hey. Don't be afraid to talk. And as you can see, the body doesn't change too much except for the breast size, and it gets. Yes, I try to make it. I wanted it to be more natural looking, because personally I like thicker women. So this body was based off of the let me look it up. I used the CBBE where is it? Chubby as a base, and I'm quite happy with it actually.
You said chubby.
So the breasts don't get too big, but they are a decent size. I'm not gonna get like crazy with it. I just generally like it like this. The waist size does get a little bit smaller, as you can see. The leg size goes down a little bit, just very slightly. It just thickens out just a little bit. Yes. So when I get a chance to actually do a stream, I'll be able to show that too. And of course,
as my mom always said, real men prefer meat, not bone.
Yep. Of course, we all know I'm using Wyco as my character overhaul. I'm using Simple Children, which is my favorite children overhaul, and I think fits very well with Wyco. We can show you how they look like right here. Let's see, they actually look like children instead of potatoes for a change. They're still using, Skyrim hair types. But at least they actually look like children now. There's another mod out there that does the children, but I think it's too fancy for what I want to do. A definite improvement. There is a known problem with the Simple Children, but it's an easy fix. I don't know why the creator hasn't taken the time to just fix the issue, so no, we don't have to fix it. But yeah. Now, like I said, at its core, I've tried to keep the game, keep the base vanilla feel of it. So I'm using things that enhance on that. So I'm using battle hardened war paints, which let's see here. This is another essential mod. Yeah, it needs to try files, and you have to. And there's an issue in the actual Simple Children ESP that needs to be fixed. I wish the guy had more images to show, but this is really an essential mod for me. But we'll be able to see that in game too when we get a chance. Improved eyes. This is the only eye mod that I'm using right now. The only one I feel like I really need, since I'm trying to keep that vanilla feel. I think these are very nice textures. It retextures the base ones and adds new ones to it. These are some of the mirror eyes, which I think look fantastic. The Khajiit eyes, I'm glad there's a variety of Khajiit eyes. Normally there isn't. See, orc samples. Wow, those are pretty cool.
As Chrissy would say, Khajiit.
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 Khajiit, yeah.
No, not Jeed. G.
Khajiit. Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, Khajiit. Yeah, that's what. Jeed.
And these are I guess these are the default eye colors for all races. Very cool. And a new demon one, it looks like. I got some pictures showing the eyes on people in game. Yep, definitely. So then, what were we looking at? Okay, Haver Gilmir's aesthetic beards and brows. These are retextures and expansions on the default vanilla beards and brows. I don't think we really need to show these all that much. I'm using 3 vanilla styled hair mods. The let's see here, lore style hair, I think looks pretty nice. I mean, they're a little funky too, but hey, more never hurts. Some of them are very pretty. And let's see here, vanilla hair variety plus. This is a very essential mod. A lot of these hair are adds 8 new styles for males and females. Which I think really fit the way the hairs are designed. And then Howitzer's hair for men, of course. Great mod. Yeah, I'm using Bedhead as my hair texture replacer. I really like how that looks. Let's see here. See, what was that? Did somebody like follow me or something like that? I didn't see it. Do I not have that turned on? Let's see here. Alert box. Well, it is supposedly on, but huh. I think that was a follow that I heard. So thank you to whoever. Now, as you can see, I really love the textures for Bedhead. They're a vast improvement, even over the Wyco textures, in my opinion. Well, thank you very much, Serena. I appreciate that. For males, I'm using Tempered Skin, overriding Wyco. These really fit the whole, fit the vanilla style I'm going for here. And I'm using Women of Skyrim for my female skin overhaul. And then I have my last two character mods are Vanilla Makeup HD. I don't think many people know about this particular mod. What it does is turns all the makeup and all the for all the races and genders and makes them high def, up to 4K quality. And they also now they apply for even the non-human races, so we can yeah, I think I looked briefly at diversity. Let's see here, and I love what it did to the textures, because those base makeup textures are not very good. So the eye makeup will actually look like eye makeup. I mean, that is a pretty Khajiit right there. Not that I play many Khajiit, but yeah. That makes the makeup look a lot better, though. And then Vanilla Warpaint's Absolution. Another great mod here. I think is it made by the same person? I think it is. Yes, it is. This modder right here is just belts out these fantastic texture mods. It improves all the war paints, 2K or 4K, and adjusted for every race and gender. So you have like new combinations of the same. I mean, that looks pretty cool. Just improving on the base textures and all that, you know. So they look a lot better. See, another very pretty Khajiit. But yeah, this guy has this person has a lot of texture mods on the Nexus that are really fantastic, which you saw me use, especially when I had made my my fawn character that I made. I was using some of his mods for that one too, the body textures. I don't have those installed, but if I were to get more fancy, I would probably do that. But now I've recently added, this morning I added a few followers to my setup. Of course, my own followers, Sensuali. Companions and followers, as far as I'm concerned, a must-have. my favorite default companions. Now this guy just came out, the companion Yingvar. This guy looked so cool, and he's so different than what you normally see for followers. I just had to add this guy to my game. I mean, who doesn't want an old Nord with a big, thick beard as a follower? And he's a werebear to boot, which is really cool. Thank you, Magus. I'm I had plenty of help to help me make that follower mod too. Yeah, Yingvar, this guy is so freaking cool. I had to add him. Be nice to actually play him inside a game. Definitely. Let's see here. I've got Hoth. I don't. If you're an old timer or Skyrim player, everybody knows who Hoth is. He's another male follower. I don't. I don't have any decent female followers added to my game yet, because I don't think a lot of them are very vanilla friendly. And of course, I had to add Inigo, the famous Khajiit follower. See here, I recently installed the Warhammer Sorceress robe because I plan on playing a mage for what I want to stream. So she'll be wearing the Warhammer Sorceress robes. I've got remodeled armor as a standalone, so it doesn't, just in case, like if I ever wanted to like have something a little bit more skimpy, I could use the remodeled armor. And that reminds me, I really love the way the tavern clothes look for the remodeled armor. I mean, I think they're very pretty. I would like to get those meshes and put them in with my Sensuality follower mod, because she wears those as well. I downloaded and converted Bikini Maiden to Special Edition, but I removed all the followers, because I don't want skimpy women running around in my game, unless I'm playing them. Just for my own perviness if I'm like playing on my own or whatever, you know. I just like having the option.
You fucking pervert.
I know, I am such a perv, aren't I? Let's see here,
I would never act like that. I'm an innocent man. I'm
yeah,
innocent,
yeah, liar.
Utmost respect towards women kind of man.
You are such a liar.
No, these people don't know me. All right.
I know, and you're trying to lie to them.
I'm a pure, innocent human being who's very pure at heart and very
don't listen to him.
Very, very modest when it comes to the ladies.
He's lying.
Very modest. Fuck
you.
You. No, I'm not.
That's my friend Ryan. See, this is my favorite, one of my favorite creature overhauls, which is Draugr upgrades and improvements.
I learned all my innocence from Mother Teresa herself.
Yeah, I'm sure you did.
She is a very, very beautiful and very independent woman. She actually is someone that I admire to be, minus the woman. Right? You know, it's just it's just how things gotta be. You know what I mean?
Obviously. So I love what this particular mod does. It adds new types of Draugrs and retextures some of the Draugr bosses that you'll find in game. So this is like an image of like King Olaf right here. Uh, King Olaf again. I mean, it looks very friggin' cool. Let's see here. Draugr. This is one of the new Draugr types. The Draugr Marauder. Let's see here.
Hey Brian, have you heard the good news?
What's the good news?
Jesus is coming back.
Oh yeah, I heard that.
I'm just fucking with you. Jesus doesn't give a shit.
I know, yeah. The Draugr Bloodletter. Let's see here. Draugr War Chief. Yes, I love this mod because I seriously think the Draugr are one of the most boring creatures that you can find in game, and I find this to be an excellent upgrade for them. Draugr Warlord. Oh, the Draugr Warlock. Now this is I love that there are new Draugr that actually cast spells, which is something I wanted to do. I was actually going to make a mod just like this until I found that this mod existed, so I didn't have to make it. Draugr Frost Witch. Draugr Elite Sentinel. Oh, now that looks very cool. I'm always afraid to add Obus, though. I kind of don't want to add it, but... And there's Red Eagle. Let's take a look at him. He's using bone armor, huh? Dragon bone armor. Yeah, very good. You're a smart man. Corral Mill. I'm not sure who that is, but he looks very freaking cool. I mean, wow, look at those fingers. Those fingers are huge. I would love to add some more flexibility to bandits. I mean, I had a favorite mod until it was taken down. I guess the modder wants to rebuild it or something. But yeah, and this will keep Draugrs leveling with you as well. It tells some of the new Draugr that were added, like Sentinels, Berserkers, Warlocks, Diseased Draugr, and Priestesses. Oh yeah, okay. I haven't done a lot of the quests, so... Let's see here. Wild World is my major creature overhaul. It edits all the creatures so they have a better AI and act better. Reminds me, I need to remember the name of that creature retexture that I like to use. I don't have that in here yet. Now I just came upon this mod recently, and I had to add it. It's called Attack Dogs, a dog combat overhaul. This mod is really friggin' cool. So let's see. Let's go over some of the features so you can see what they do. Dogs, wolves, and foxes have been split into several roles and damage types depending on their breed. Movement speed has been increased. and differs depending on the type of canine. Scaling damage and damage resistance over 10 levels up to level 200. Pets also gain perks and special attacks when they reach a certain level. Dogs, wolves, and foxes have been given various weaknesses and resistances, similar to Know Your Enemy. Dogs, wolves, and foxes slowly regenerate hit points. Certain animals have been given new models or textures, so you don't have to stare at the same thing. All canine followers now have increased functionality and can be commanded to do things that you would normally ask a follower to do. Cloud storage inventories have been added to all dogs, so you can switch dogs on the fly without losing anything that they were hauling for you. The Conjure Familiar spell has been renamed to Conjure Unstable Familiar, Canid. Now a familiar will grow and change forms as your conjuration skill raises every 25 skill levels starting at 0. Learning certain spells can also cause a change. I think this is a very cool function. Cloak, armor, invisibility, and ward spells will be cast on your dog when you cast them on yourself. This mod is friggin' awesome. I don't know why this isn't more popular. I mean, it only has like 164 endorsements, but this mod is freaking awesome. They have stealth perks. They don't hit pressure plates. All dogs have a small chance to stagger an enemy. I mean, this is like just really cool. And of course, immersive horses. I can't play without the flesh FX. This mod changes the textures for all the flesh spells, so they actually look interesting. So we can go over some of these textures so you can see here. There's dragon flesh. See, ebony flesh. Iron flesh. My favorite is the oak flesh. When you actually see it in game, it's actually really impressive. And I like that it's not really covering all your body, so you actually get to see, you know, it. Because normally these textures are really freaking disgusting. This makes it very cool to actually have in play. Alright, let's see here. Realistic humanoid movement speed. I had to download this to fix the really fast movement I was experiencing. This is a must-have mod if this should be a core mod, really. Just edits the walk, run, sprint rates. You can even do it for the horses if you want to. See, as far as animations go, I'm not using a lot. I'm using better jumping. This time around, I'm actually using TK dodge. I just make sure it's more of a step dodge than it is an actual like tumble roll type of thing. PCA2 for Finis, as per Magus's request. Well, magic casting animations overhaul. Pretty combat animations, the one-handed animation overhaul. Now this is a patch that I've been working on for realistic needs and diseases. And what it does is it adds food effects, because normally the mod doesn't have any effects for food, but this patch will allow food to actually have some benefits to being used, which you'll see in game. This is an extension I've been working on for alchemy adjustments, which is on the Nexus. This is adding new kinds of alchemical ingredients that you can get off of certain animals, and adds new cooking recipes to the game based on some of those ingredients. At the moment, let's see here, you can get wolf meat, horker fat. Let's see here. I just recently added
fat. What the fuck?
horker fat. Yeah.
I thought you said hooker fat. Like, I'm like, what the fuck are you kind of fucking playing there, buddy?
Yeah. I recently added a rabbit heart to the game and a rabbit stew that you can make. Another one of my mods, which I added, was Campsite Extended. This is an add-on to the mod Campsite, which makes it so that you can actually find the camping gear in vendors. Normally, you won't be able to find them except at like I don't know why the owner made it work off of a script. I think that's really weird, but now it will actually show up in vendors. Let's see here. Oh, I forgot to show you our Artifice artifacts. This is something brand new I've added to my game. Yeah, here we go. I was trying to look for an alternative to Zim's immersive artifacts, and I think this one is a good contender. It doesn't per se change the way they look like Zim's would, but it does change how a lot of artifacts in the game work. See, he's edited weapons like Aegis Bane, Angi's Bow, which is normally like a quest item, Blade of Sacrifice, Blade of Woe, Bloodthorn, Bolar's Oathblade, Dragon Priest Dagger, Drainheart Spell Blood Weapons, Edouge, and Oaken. I've not heard of some of this stuff, like Froki's Bow, which is normally a quest item too. Now has different stats. Ghost Blade, Poacher's Axe, Steel Battle Axe of Fiery Souls, Troll's Bane. That's another one of those special items you can find. Increase burn damage to trolls from 15 to 25. Increase charges to 2,500. Valdir's Lucky Dagger is a lot faster. Hoarfrost, Blood Scythe and Soul Render, Chill Rend, Dragonbane. I think this mod actually affects more items than Zim's Immersive Artifacts does. But I wouldn't know for certain. Harken's Sword, the Staff of Magus, Red Eagle's Bane. Just, it affects so much in armors too. Just a ton of them. And it changes to the Guildmaster's armor set. Linway's armor set. Armor of the Old Gods. Deathbrand armor. Nightingale. I mean, just a huge amount of items have been changed and rebalanced. Mirex robes. Even some of the clothing in the game have been altered too. Archmage's boots, Cicero's clothing, Ulfric's clothes. And some jewelry too. Yeah. Like the locket of St. Jube. Never heard of the Amulet of the Gargoyle before. The White Vial. Daedric weapons too. Overall, very extensive alternative to Zim's immersive artifacts. Okay. A lot of my own personal patches that I've created, like Cathedral Landscapes R&D overhaul, which I needed to make, so I get the most benefit out of it. A guard armor replacer and Wyco patch, immersive weapons Wyco patch. These are just patches I've had to make for myself. And that's about it. And that finishes up the load order list. And of course, this is pretty much up to date on, let's see here. It should be pretty much up to date with ModWatch. Now, somebody said that they have problems getting ModWatch to work. Which I think mostly has to do with people not doing the Nexus Mod Manager stuff as well. You should actually be filling these out as well as the mod organizer. Just directing them to your mod organizer. Doing that will ensure that your mod list is showing up on the ModWatch page, so other people can see your load order. So I wanted to touch on that. I'm still using Reengage, but I might go back to Rudy when it has one for Cathedral worked out. So I suppose the next thing to do would be to actually hop in game and look about. Let's see here, but I wanted I was looking for something. Just trying to look for the it's a mod that retextures all the animals. I don't remember the name of it. There it is, Belly Aches Animal and Creature Pack. Yeah, that's what I wanted. So we'll go ahead and download this and get that installed.
Brian, I'm kind of creeped out right now.
Why?
Because in Second Life, I kind of made my avatar kind of Geralt without even trying.
You made him look like Geralt?
From Witcher, Geralt.
Yeah. No, there's nothing wrong with that.
Like he kind of looks like him, but more sophisticated.
Ooh la la.
I'm gonna just send you a Diazo right now because it's kind of freaky.
All right, let's take a look.
How I managed it, but hold on.
Let's take a look. Yeah, we can all take a look.
Alright, jeez. I don't know why I think he looks like Geralt, but you'll see what I mean. I hope it's not one of those Codex Black situation at work yesterday. Some guy walked up to me and said one of the people missing on the on the they were missing in my state. Basically, the guy looked like Codex Black, and I said, no, he doesn't look like Codex Black. We had a black woman walk up and said, he doesn't look like Codex Black. She asked, have you ever seen him? And I said, no, I haven't, but I know he doesn't look like
That
Codex
is
Black.
really nice, Ryan. Wow, I love that hair.
Yeah, you wouldn't believe what hair that is.
That's a killer hairstyle.
That hair is
Mhm.
actually the Joker hair they put in there.
Really? Oh wow, I really like it actually. That's very good
Yeah.
looking. Yes, folks, I play Second Life as well as doing other things.
If you can tell, he kind of looks like the Witcher, but not really.
No, yeah, not really, but I mean, kind of, yes. I can
Yeah,
see that.
kind of, but he doesn't. You
Yeah.
know, it's
Very handsome. Very handsome indeed. See, actually, since we're all sharing a little bit here, I can show everybody my my Second Life character. Let's see here. Let's see, where's my downloads? Here we go. So let's see here. Let's see here. Yes, I play a female on Second Life, but I don't care. I like it. This is some recent pictures I took of her. Her name is Saskia. Yeah, I turned on the high def and everything so I could take these pictures. And the shadowing and all that good stuff. Yeah. And this was my inspiration for trying to make my my follower mod Sensuale.